Hello, this is Anna Marie Steffenson. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your time here. We are exploring watercolor palettes, and we've gone through previously different ones that I've used, and most recently the landscape palette. I wanted to bring you to your attention right here. Daniel Smith recently came out with a gouache selection. So gouache is considered a watercolor paint. It is a watercolor media. But the huge difference is that it is, in fact, opaque. With watercolors, there can be a variety between completely transparent, semi-transparent, and opaque colors. You also have granulation and other characteristics that are unique to each pigment, but that's the big delineation within watercolor. Watercolors are transparent, and even the opaque ones, you thin them out, they have some transparency. Gouache is focused on its opacity. So historically, it has been used for the original illustrations for magazines, 1950s, and I'm enjoying learning more. I have a lot more to learn on that. I appreciate James Gurney for teaching a good amount about gouache. So this is a new palette with the new colors from Daniel Smith Watercolors. And let's see, I don't have this laid out right. There we go. So as you can see, they're still pretty new. I haven't activated, I haven't, got them all thoroughly mixed yet. And they are in here and they are dry. And this is really interesting. I just put out the full range of colors that I had, and that's why I purchased a bigger watercolor palette. As you can see, it is bigger than this one, and it is much bigger than this one. So it's not doing a limited palette theory, which is good color theory, but it is using all the variety of colors that they had launched at the time that I had this. So there's some really interesting colors that I normally don't use, but are still worth looking at. The buff titanium, the titanium white, opera pink. These are colors I don't normally play with, so it's good to explore and push my boundaries. And I don't like this. Okay, well, use it and try again and find ways to push your boundaries, because it is growth that we're interested in this watercolor journey. All right, so this is the gouache palette. I'm enjoying using it. It's still pretty new for me, and I'm continuing to explore gouache. And this palette is laid out very different than the previous, because it's not a limited palette, which means limited colors in the choices that you've made, and it's not my dot card colors. It is just the range of colors available. So philosophically, according to color theory, it's laid out differently. Some similarities that are the same here is that I have them laid out by color category: pinks, dark neutrals, dark blues, lighter blues, greens. Earths going towards yellows. So again, dark value going to high value. And then notice here that I actually put space in and separated out the palette. So here we have dark value going towards light value, with the yellows going towards the earth. And again, this piece of paint just popped out, and you can see it's still new. It still has that tip on it from where it was liquid, and I pulled it out of the tube. And all you have to do is put a dot of water on there and put it back in, and it'll, if I'm nimble enough, and it will glue itself back down. Or you can get the whole thing wet, just put half a teaspoon of water in there, and it will melt the paint back down. Again, dark value going towards light value, and I've created space here to put a buffer between the whites and all the other colors. In a normal watercolor palette, I would also often put it here. Let's see if I can still move these ones. There we go. And this yellow ochre doesn't want to move. It's already glued itself down with pigment. Let's see if it will let me take it out. There we go. Okay, so another natural place to put a division in your palette is between the whites and the other colors, and between the yellows and any other colors, because the yellows can be easily influenced by any other color if you touch into it with a not clean paintbrush. So it's good to keep the yellows separated. Let's see, other thoughts about the palette. Have you guys tried gouache? Gouache is coming into the watercolor renaissance and holding its own in this place also. It's one that I think oils and acrylics, oils historically, acrylics in the last 8 decades and have hijacked all the attention. Watercolor is now in its renaissance and keeping the attention, and it's gouache is part of that. So it deserves its place at the table. A good thing to also know about gouache, this is great, buy high quality. Daniel Smith is one of only 2 companies that does not use filler in their gouache. They do not use chalk as a filler, which makes it more opaque, but also desaturates and cools down all the other colors. So it just uses pure pigment, which means, so for the Daniel Smith company, it's a much higher quality. This is another example where this is a product that will last forever. You want your paintings themselves to be able to last for 200, 500, 800 years. So buy the good quality pigment. This is a higher quality product than the other items on the shelf because doesn't have the filler of chalk. It just uses pigment, the density of the pigment in the formula to create the opacity. So it's just a better product. Again, the pans, I put liquid gouache. Oh, there I am knocking out the individual pieces again. I put liquid gouache into each of the half pans. I bought the half pans empty. And now I can reactivate them with water, which is a wonderful gift over oil or acrylic. You can reactivate it and get the main color that you want to get. In Oklahoma, I had the joy of meeting a wonderful illustrator. She was so gifted. And she talked about her experience with gouache, specifically in that you could mix the color that you wanted, and then the next day you could come back, reactivate your puddle, and still get exactly the same color. You did not have to spend hours and hours and hours remixing to find that exact same yellow or lavender, etc., etc. And it was such a gift and time saver for her, and she had gone to use more gouache. Alrighty, I hope this exploration of the Daniel Smith gouache is very helpful for you. I'd love to hear about your experiences with gouache because it was one that I was not, hadn't had much experience with until Daniel Smith came out with the line. And I'm really grateful for the chance to try them and explore them and learn to use them well. And I'm finding I'm enjoying learning to use them actually very, very wet, which I was told is not the correct way, but that's what we do as artists. We are always exploring and trying new things. And I encourage you also in your watercolor journey. Alrighty, this is the exploration of the watercolor palette for Daniel Smith Gouache. Thanks for your time and wishing you all joy and encouragement in your creative journey. Thanks.